Shalom Akim, Yahweh Bashem, Yahushai Bashem, Kwakadash, abundance and salutations to the elders and apostles of Great Stone Rule Wells, but I'm not sure again with another short lesson to edify the hopeful elect of Yahweh Bashem, Yahushai. So, you know how it is in Babylon, nothing is going to be permanent, man. You know, something happens today, tomorrow it gets taken down because it's not of the Lord. And that's what's going on in Kansas City. All right, you hear about the sign for MLK, the Martin Luther King, or his so-called boulevard got changed over back to its original name, which is the Paseo. So people are pissed off that you know how it is, man. All this so-called hoodwinking that goes on in government. All right, people decide to have a say and say, well, we don't want none of that MLK stuff. That it has to be done the proper way. If they want to make any changes, the people got to be consulted. All right. So the Lord Yahweh Shema does not need to consult with man regarding his affairs. All right. The Most High is the Almighty dictator. He decides what's going to happen and how it's going to take place and when it's going to take place. All right. So you shouldn't be striving for achievements that can be easily torn apart here in Babylon. You know, you need to already know that by now. All right, I'll play the video. You get a quick understanding.
DC voters have spoken. Nine of the Paseo street signs came down, but now they'll go back up. Question 5 passed overwhelmingly, with almost 70% of voters favoring the old name over Dr. Martin Luther King Boulevard.
And that's of the Lord. Because the Lord Abba Shema Shai is tearing down all these so-called, people that Jakes like to hold in high esteem. All right. Folks that are not of the Lord, and that are not of the the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of the Holy Scriptures. All right. So the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai is creating a full frontal assault on these so-called ministers. You know that they're getting challenged now. You know, on every topic, on every corner. You know, because they're feeling the heat now. The Lord Yahweh Shema Shai is exposing them. All right.
Received by the group that put this issue on the ballot.
It's not like they didn't like the MLK name. They were just frustrated with how it was done and what was chosen as a tribute.
Because it was hard. These people you respect, and you don't expect them to handle things in this manner. They want to do a good thing, but they went about it the wrong way. And the voters of Kansas City have decided. And so we now work together with this current mayor, Mayor Lucas, and others that want to, on how we can properly honor Dr. King in Kansas City.
Yeah.
And that's the madness our people are involved in. They're still stuck, in that vibration of so-called civil rights. All right, because it's crazy, man. You don't want to talk about it, but it keeps popping up. I know November, it's always election month. All right, and then you got next year, so-called presidential elections and all that stuff. So I get this quick precept here. It's gonna be from the book of let's see, let me check this notes real quick. Yeah, Revelation chapter 3, verses 11 and 12. All right. Revelation 3, verses 11 and 12. And then it says, behold, I come quickly, hold that fast which thou hast, that no man take thy crown. All right. So this gospel is what exactly we need to hold on to. The wisdom of the Lord Yahweh Shema Shah is what we have. And we don't have to compromise when it comes to the gospel. You do not compromise. You do not give ground. You do not retreat when it comes to the spirit of Yahweh Shema Shai. All right. You do not back down concerning this gospel of the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai. That's not what the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai expects us to be. All right. You gotta be 100% when it comes to this knowledge, all right? Verse 12, him that overcometh will I make a pillar in the temple of my power. All right, so you're going to have a status in the kingdom of heaven, a renowned status. All right, you're going to be recognized as a man of the Lord, with all the accolades, with all the recognition. All right, something greater than you could ever have on this earth. All right, that we see now. All right, because all these so-called politicians, they're held in high regard. Folks worship the grounds that they step on. But in the kingdom of heaven, the elect will be, looked up to, by our people. They'll be greeted with respect and sincerity. Even the heathen will do the same thing too. Even the angels will do the same thing too. All right, because that's how beautiful the Lord Bashim Shah is. He's going to reward his prophets, all right, with that status that can never be taken down. All right, and he shall go no more out, and I will write upon him the name of my power, and the name of the city of my power, which is New Jerusalem, which cometh down out of heaven from my power, and I will write upon him my new name. And that's exactly what we need to be striving for. All right, not all these so-called street namings, playground naming, and all that stuff. That's vanity. All right, we need to be striving for the gospel to be preached in the four corners of the earth. All right, because the reward that we're going to get is going to be excellent from the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai. All right, you shouldn't waste your efforts trying to be somebody that the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai doesn't want you to be in Babylon. All right, so you don't want to be part of this confusion. Okay, so I'll get some more precepts here. So Proverbs chapter 21 verse 16, that's a simple one. You always remember that because these simple precepts help you a lot. They keep you anchored. And then it says, the man that wandered out of the way of understanding shall remain in the congregation of the dead. And that's one thing our people have been involved in. Always wandering out of the way of understanding. Always wandering away from the scriptures of the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai. All right, and then they end up, being confused. All right, thinking that this so-called system of Babylon, so-called system of democracy, is the way to go. It just creates more confusion, more madness, more anxiety, more depression. That's what Babylon is gonna make our people, experience. All right, and another precept here is going to be from the book of Matthew, chapter 5, verses 18 and 19. And it says, so verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law till all be fulfilled. And that's what we're waiting for. Prophecy. All right. And so all these tensions about, we don't want this happening, we don't want that happening, that's of the Lord. All right. So that you have a clear view of the Lord preparing the way for Yahweh Shai to come back and overthrow Babylon. All right, so you're gonna see more so-called tensions. Now you're gonna see, it's like you're gonna see more craziness in these last days, man. All right, where people are gonna feel like as if they've been cheated by the so-called democratic system, and they're gonna pick up arms and rocks and all that stuff. All right, and they're gonna go at each other's throat. All right, and this is verse 19. It says, whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments and shall teach men so, he shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. And that's what MLK and all these so-called civil rights leaders and all these Nation of Islam, all these back to Africa madness, they're going to be the least in the kingdom of heaven because they're diverting our people's mind away from the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai. All right, they are scattering the flock. All right, instead of them preaching the gospel of the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai, they're giving them all this false doctrine, this false hope of all this madness of back to Africa, which is not fruitful. All right, it's a strange doctrine. All right, and then I look at You know what? I read the last line. But whosoever shall do and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. And that's exactly what the man of the Lord keep stressing. That our people need to wake up and come out of that madness of so-called civil rights, of so-called being a Baptist, of being a so-called Republican, being a Democrat, joining the Green Party, thinking that voting is going to make your life much more easier. No, you just got to pray to the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai, and He will make a way for you. All right, so this is Isaiah chapter 59, verse 9. Therefore is judgment far from us, neither the justice overtake us. We wait for light, but behold obscurity, for brightness, but we walk in darkness. And that's what Babylon has been for our people, a land of darkness. And now that the light of the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai is shining, all right, you have more tensions coming up against the men of the Lord. So the men of the Lord have to stay spiritual. You don't have to be out there picketing and yelling, that you want to integrate into the system, to give way for Esau to lighten up his tension, to lighten up his heat that's turning up on people, our people. All right, so we gotta look unto the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai for mercy, not to Esau. All right, and then Yahweh Shai says that be wise as a serpent and harmless as a dove. So you gotta learn how to choose your words wisely when you're doing the work of the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai. It can't be brutish. All right, you gotta be straight to the point. Okay, and final precept is gonna be from the book of Luke, chapter 11, verse 34. All right, and it says the light of the body is the eye. Therefore, when that eye is single, when your eye is focused, okay, when your eyes is in unison, okay, which is exactly what needs to be done. It says the whole body also is full of light. When you're focused on the right thing, on the scriptures of the Lord about Shema Shai, you get enlightened. All right, your mind is at ease. You understand exactly what's going on. You're sober. You're confident. Your faith is getting stronger and stronger each day. But when thine eye is evil, thy body also is full of darkness. And that's exactly what our people are engaging in, darkness. And that's what Babylon has turned our people into, a bunch of evil beasts that refuse to hold on to the gospel of Lord Yahweh Shema Shai. All right. So, these ministers, man, they're just leading our people astray, man. All this voting, all this marching doesn't help. All right, so it's all confusion. So that's the point there, Akim. Hope you've been edified. Pray the Lord Yahweh Shema shall protect you from falling to these doctrines of darkness. All right, because in the evil days, Shalom.